Hello world, my name is Ben and welcome to Out and About the Outer Banks. Last summer I went with my family to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. In this Out and About video, I'd like to share with you some of the places we went and the activities we enjoyed. If you're perhaps planning a trip to the Outer Banks, then hopefully you find my reviews useful. My family and I stayed at the Kitty Hawk Barrier Island Station RCI Resort. It was a nice little resort nestled back in the woods and swamp in an area of the Outer Banks that actually doesn't have any beachfront, but they do have a parking lot right up at the beach for anyone that is staying at the resort, so you can just do a short drive to get there. The inside was cozy, it was fairly well maintained, it was clean, and generally made for a good environment to stay in. Not that we spent a lot of time in the hotel, although my family does really enjoy puzzles, so we did perhaps do one, maybe two puzzles. The property itself had some maintenance issues. There was a nature walk, but it was more nature than walk. The trails were really overgrown and not well posted, and the view was, well, pretty, but mosquito infested. There were some walkways that were completely destroyed and fallen into the swamp, so you couldn't even go those directions. So if you're staying at Barrier Island Station, I recommend going to the beach for your walks rather than using the resort. Alright, let's talk about food. It was recommended to me that with a group going down to the Outer Banks, you're best off if you bring your own groceries and cook in. That the restaurants in the area are fairly expensive because, well, it's a tourist area. That is true. Prices are expensive. However, my family and I like to explore and like to experience new things. So we went to a number of restaurants while we were there. First place we went to was called the Black Pelican. It's right on the beach, easy walk. The inside was nautical theme. In general, good food, nice menu, nice environment. Our waitstaff was sarcastic and amusing, much like my family. So generally, it was a good time. The second night, we went to a place called Suey's, which is a barbecue restaurant down in Nag's Head. I had a craving for fried chicken, so I didn't actually have barbecue, but the fried chicken was really good. And a couple of my family members had barbecue, and they really enjoyed it. They said it was pretty good. So if you enjoy barbecue, Suey's is a good place to try out. The Outer Banks has a local brewery, so we went there for dinner one night. It's called the Outer Banks Brewing Station, and it's down in Kill Devil Hills. As you'd expect for a brewery, wide variety of beer. They have live music and entertainment, good food. Quite a line though, so it took a while to get in. Further north up the coast, went to a place called Cosmos. This was a lunch stop, and I actually have problems with dairy, so I personally avoided the pizza. Most of my family had the pizza, and they seemed to enjoy it. The last place we went to for food was ironically one of the first places we went to for activities. We'll talk more about that later. It's called The Pit, and the restaurant is specifically the Board Riders Grill. The restaurant is near the surf shop. They had good food, good company, very casual atmosphere. They actually had an attic area with some arcade games, pool table, things like that, couches that you could just sit on. It was definitely designed as a hangout place. They had signs there indicating they had things like teen night. It's not a big place, so you may have a hard time finding a seat, but it was good, and it was a nice environment. How can you go to a tourist area on vacation and not do shopping? First place we went for shopping was a place called Kitty Hawk Kites. No surprise, they have kites there. It was also a place that they offer rentals and other activities. I'll talk about that more in a minute when we go over our adventures. There's a whole series of stores there called Wings. They're all over the place, and they're pretty much your cheap knockoff touristy type goods. You can go there and get any sort of thing that's beach related or OBX related. I'm not sure if any of it is made locally or if it's all made in China, but you can imagine the type of place. Gigantic warehouse type store with stuff lining all the walls, lots of shelves. One day while we were down there, we went on a quest. Our quest was to find a comic book store. My nephew was hoping to pick up some comics, and I'm kind of a geek myself, a bit. Unfortunately, we went to all the bookstores we could find and none of them had comics. In fact, we were only able to find reference to one comic book store, and apparently they had closed a couple of years before. I like to buy local when I go to a place like the Outer Banks. So we went to a store called Made in the OBX. Made in the OBX is, as you'd guess, all locally made things. Most of it is artisan, lots of local crafts, everything from food to decoration, artwork, clothing, furniture, all sorts of little things, big things, all sorts of things. I actually bought some cookie mix that I am dying to try out, but I promised that I wouldn't make this until I could make a video of it, and I couldn't make a video of it until I got this video out. So now that this is done, I'm gonna make me some cookies. Alright, so this is without a doubt the most adventurous vacation I have ever been on. The Outer Banks is filled with opportunities for adventure. I mentioned Kitty Hawk Kites, right? Well, we actually went to that store with the hopes of doing some kayak rentals. You generally have to schedule your events like that at least a day in advance, so that way you can make sure you get in on a reservation. My family and I decided on doing the Maritime Forest kayaking. It was supposed to be a leisurely kayaking adventure on the inside of the Outer Banks rather than on the ocean side. The pacing and setting seemed like it was going to be good for the full age range of my family, which was from the 70s to the early teens. So there's a wide range of mobility and capability and attention span. That kayaking was wonderful. It was actually my first time ever kayaking, and I kind of pushed my family into doing the event because I really, really wanted to try kayaking. Now I just kind of wish I owned a kayak and could go locally. So anyway, that first day we were there, we just got the reservations for the kayaking. But what we ended up doing was right across the street is the largest living sand dune in the area. It is gigantic. So at Kitty Hawk Kites, guess what? We bought kites. Taking our newfound toys, we went across the street. It was getting kind of late, but it was beautiful. I managed to get my kite going pretty well, as did the rest of my family members. I don't know if you can really make it out from this picture, but I got a blue diamond kite with a purple octopus on it wearing a top hat. It was very classy.
It's really, really up there.
Trying to take a picture.
Actually, I now have a video going as I roll out the last bit in case it lets go.
That's great.
Here's hoping it's strong. Okay, it is tied. Good. It is tied. I've got to do it. I don't want to have to roll this back in, by the way.
Oh, yeah, well, what do you want to do? Just let it drop?
I'm out of thread. Oh, dear.
We were there for a couple hours and it was a lot of fun, very casual, very low cost, beautiful surroundings. You may recall earlier that I mentioned the pit. Well, we went there to get surfing lessons. You have to plan this thing kind of in advance, so we really weren't able to be picky about our weather. As it turned out, it was not the best surfing weather. The waves weren't that big, it was very cloudy, wasn't a particularly gorgeous day at the beach, but despite all of that, we had a blast. So my siblings, nephew, and I tried out surfing. Our instructor was a great guy, very easygoing, knowledgeable, and helpful. Even with my lack of physical coordination, I managed to get up on my board, even if it was just really briefly. If you want to learn surfing, I do recommend them. That's the Pit Surf Shop in Nags Head. Great people, good cost, not hard to get into. You should check them out. One of the random touristy adventures we went on, we went to a place called Paradise Fun Park. It's a neat little place. They have go-karts that actually move at a pretty good clip, although the one that I had issues. People kept passing me because I couldn't go fast enough. It was definitely the car, not my fault. They also have bumper cars, which were actually these giant circular bumper cars that you're all in a little pen and you ram into other people, and if you hit them certain places on the cars that are marked, you send them into a whirlwind spin. Had a great time playing that with my mother. She's a maniac when it comes to those kinds of things. And my siblings offer no mercy. So the next adventure we went on was we visited the Wright Brothers Memorial. It was in the Outer Banks that the Wright Brothers tested out their flying machines and kind of became the founders of aviation. The monument itself set up on a tall hill with an amazing view of the area. Couldn't have asked for a more picturesque day when we went either. There was also a little museum area set up where they were giving some talks, and they had models, both small and full size, of the Wright brothers plane. And then there was a bronze and metal area outside that had a replica of the Wright brothers plane, as well as some people standing by watching. After the Wright brothers memorial, we visited the Elizabethan Gardens. I don't know if technically the Elizabethan Gardens are part of the Outer Banks, because you actually go off of the island area where the Outer Banks normally are and visit Roanoke Island. Of course, there was a giant statue of Queen Elizabeth, because, well, Elizabethan Gardens. But the main feature, as you'd guess, were the flowers. Lots of flowers. Colorful flowers in pretty displays, and also really large trees. Beautiful canopy. Stationed throughout the grounds were also various statues. They also had a wedding area set up, and there was this neat old sundial there. There was also wildlife. I spent some time and managed to get this picture of a sneaky blue lizard. So that was pretty much the south side of the Outer Banks. Next, we visited the north side. Those adventures started with the Currituck Lighthouse. Sorry, the Currituck Beach Lighthouse. Now this is a really tall lighthouse that they allow you to go in and see what it was like back in the day and climb all the way to the top. What you may not know is I have a bit of a fear of heights. This is a tall lighthouse, and that was a lot of stairs. I had to stop several times along the way, catch my breath, and of course take pictures of the windows. But eventually I made it to the top.
That is really high up.
Oh, you're
See, there's,
yeah.
Yep.
Let's give you the clip if you want.
Yep.
Yeah!
I'm probably gonna break into a sweat watching this later.
I see it! It's awesome.
Yep.
After surviving that and then coming back down, they gave me a sticker. So after the lighthouse, we went to the local village, hit the Cosmos Pizzeria I talked about earlier, and then we went to the beach. Now, Corova Beach is not like most other beaches, specifically because there's no easy road access ways. In order to go up the beach, you have to have a four-wheel drive vehicle, and it has to be capable of off-roading, because this is some pretty serious off-roading. Saw many vehicles stuck in the sand. All too often, it was a minivan driver who said, "Oh, I have a four-wheel drive vehicle, I'm all good." No, minivans are not designed for off-roading. Luckily, my brother brought his truck with him, so we loaded it into the back in the cab and had a good time. Eventually, we made it to the far north end of the beach and decided it was time to go swimming. I brought my snorkel along because I was going to enjoy the water, and I don't care what it looks like. Most of the time while I was snorkeling, I was circling around these fish. They were maybe that big. Appeared to be baby yellowfin tuna. Pretty neat to watch them scamper about. It was also fun to just relax in the waves, getting pushed along. My brother found one appeared to be a baby shark actually out in the water. Sorry, I don't have a picture of that. But I did manage to get a picture of a dolphin that was swimming nearby. There was all sorts of wildlife on the beach.
Oh God, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Oh, water, water, water. Oh my God. Oh, hey, water. All right, should be safe now. That's what oh God, it's more water. Oh, wait. Okay, I think I can find something. Here, how about here? No, maybe. Wait. Oh God, more water! Ah! All right, how about we go back? Can we see if there's something more? Right here. Oh, I almost got it that time.
But after a long day of getting sunburns, we decided it was time to see if we could find the wild horses. Up in that area of Corova, they actually have these wild stallions left over from Spanish settlers. Driving around for a while, eventually we spotted horse butt. Driving around some more, we did manage to find some actual horses, not just horse butts. The last adventure we went on was for mini golf. Professor Hacker's Lost Treasure Golf. It was a really well-designed course with moving water and caves and all sorts of things like that. It was even a pirate ship. Sure, there were some water hazards that probably weren't intended, but they just added the challenge. For mini golf, I really enjoyed it, even though some of the cups robbed me. So that was my trip to the Outer Banks. I hope you enjoyed this information, found some of it useful. If you did find the information useful, click the little thumbs up button and give me a like on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you've been to the Outer Banks or have any questions about the Outer Banks, let me know in the comments below. I would be interested in seeing what other people's opinions are or what questions you might have if you're planning a trip. And most importantly, I hope you have a fantastic day.